Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm continuing my Roots of Pacha gameplay and we're going to be trying to get to 100 days in this wonderful prehistoric life and farming sim. I am obsessed. If you haven't already watched, I have a video on my first 50 days and I'll link that for you below to go and watch. But without further ado, let's see what happened in this 50 days. Day 51 started pretty leisurely. I tended to my ever-growing tomato problem by using the dryer. I hope everyone is a fan of sun-dried tomatoes because frankly they don't have much choice in the matter with the amount that I've been producing. Once I had finished with my tomatoes, I headed off to the cave. I did a little dance by the horse totem for no apparent reason. Still haven't figured out what is required at this time, and then I went on an obsidian collecting mission. The next day, I remembered to take care of my animals. Judging by the poop buildup, it may have been a little while. Oops. Once my farm tasks were complete, it was time to celebrate competition day on the beach. There were lots of fun games set up, including some spear throwing, wood chopping, which was definitely not my forte, and the main event, a tug of war. This was a close call, but eventually my team definitely pulled through and we won. Competition day was definitely a lot of fun, my favourite event so far. Day 53 was the day I finally realised that I can paint my chest, so I decided it was time to do the arduous task of reorganising all of my storage. Once I had done this, I did some more fishing in an attempt to try and make some more contributions. The next day, we hit the required prosperity level for a pond for the wolves. Finally, they can have a drink. Back on the farm and all the tomato farming paid off as I hit level 5 knowledge. I also spent some time gathering more obsidian so that I could start the granary idea, which will store and feed my animals. That is going to be a great help because I keep forgetting. On day 55, I found myself drowning in tomatoes yet again, although I think my bank balance will be happy for it. I also decided it was time to upgrade my hoe as fall was just around the corner and this would make landscaping the farm a whole lot easier. And just like that, we arrived at the final day of summer. It was also time to celebrate as the granary was complete, although I realised I am starting to regret my building placement choices. I also spoke with Jin to start on the calendar idea, but apart from that, I was pretty much just excited to get cracking with autumn and see what changes come. Autumn was just as beautiful as I expected. Everywhere is now a beautiful rusted orange colour. Honestly, it felt like golden hour consistently. I quickly found some pumpkin seeds in the wild and spent a small fortune on seasonal seeds from Igrok. I wasted no time getting to work on planting them. I also remembered to go and collect my new hoe and then set off to explore the savannah in search of more seeds, where I quickly found some corn. The second day of autumn, and I decided to keep upgrading my tools as there is quite a few to do. Whilst on the hunt for Jin to complete the calendar, I found some onion seeds in the forest. After speaking with Jin, I kept heading north where I found some cabbage. Yum. Before the day ended, I also remembered to head to the jungle where I got myself a very fancy toe ring. On day 59, I had another achievement to unlock at the jungle, so I went ahead and did that, and I unlocked some earrings this time. I then spent the rest of the day on the beach because it was raining, and here I found some prickly pear seeds and also found lots of new fish that I think are just for autumn. The next day, and it was time for another clan gathering. This time it was a cooking festival, but with a sort of murder mystery twist. I had to run around and figure out who the judge was and cook a meal they might like. Needless to say, I tried and failed, but it was still a lot of fun. The next day, after I'd finished my farm chores, I went to Acre and collected my brand new obsidian scythe, and then because my stores were running low of obsidian, I headed to the mines to try and replenish them. The next day was a race day, and historically I'm terrible at these, but this one didn't go too bad. I actually finished second, the highest I've ever placed. On day 63, I continued to upgrade my tools. This time it was my axe. I then began the hard task of clearing out the bottom field to make way for farm expansion. Teti, I think that's how you say that name, also had a new idea for the farm animals. However, they like to have an early night, and my dancing didn't seem to wake them up no matter how hard I tried. Day 64 was a very, very wet one, so I spent the whole day pretty much in the caves with my big hammer getting lots and lots of resources. It was also on this day where I finally realized where I was going wrong with the beehives. I didn't know that in fact they were supposed to be next to my crops so that they can produce honey. So they've just been sat here wasting away currently. Oh dear. The 9th day of fall was a pretty busy one. First off, my house looked a little different because the upgrade I purchased with Kroll was finally complete. However, the furniture ended up a bit higgledy-piggledy, so a little bit of redecorating was required. Whilst on the topic of buildings, I started what I will call the love shack idea for my animals. And also Aika finished my obsidian axe, so I set her back to work again, working on an obsidian hammer. I did a spot of lunchtime cooking. The upgraded kitchen storage made it so much easier to see what recipes I can cook. And to the end of the day, I started farm renovations by moving my dryers to the lower field. Whew! The next day, I had another pyramid achievement to unlock, so I headed straight there in the morning. I received a bangle on this occasion. I quite like the green touch on them, very nice. The rest of the day was spent fishing at the beach. I really need to get my money up, or my contributions, I should say. On day 67, my obsidian hammer was complete. That means that all my tools are at the current highest grade they can be. Also, the love shack was completed. Apparently, candles do not come included. Probably wise, that could be a fire hazard. But either way, hopefully, romance will bloom and we'll have baby animals everywhere soon. The next day was a day for mining, and I finally unlocked the most beautiful levels in the mine. They're all kind of green and overgrown and have little flowers as well. So cute. I also found the entrance to the beach cave, so now I can use that for mining as well. Such a good help. I did stay there a little bit too long, and it wasn't long before I did collapse for the night. Oh well. On day 69, the breeding shack was done, so I decided to seduce my ibexes and encourage them to make baby ibexes. And then I headed off into the savannah where the baby cats were also down, and they were so cute, so I tried to use my flute on them to befriend them. The next day, Ira had an idea for keeping food cool. Whilst hunting for a pot, I realised I hadn't purchased all of the cooking utensils from Tear. I then made a bit of a mistake when buying the pot required for the idea, as I bought 1 instead of 3. The pot saga continued the next day when I accidentally purchased 2 huge pots. Don't do this, it's an expensive mistake. I then realised I couldn't even start the idea because I didn't have enough prosperity. Just doing really well. So I sulked and cleared out the lower field, ready for more crop plots. On day 72, the ibexes finally produced a little baby ibex, so cute, adorable, and I finally managed to start the cold storage idea. So there we go, that was a good day. I was really annoyed with myself this day because even though I got the notification about the carnival festival, I tended to my crops and then just totally forgot about it, so I never actually got to see it. Oh well, we'll have to wait till next year. On day 74, the cold storage was finally complete. Thankfully, we don't have to think about that again. I also realised I was neglecting my animals. 3 poop piles, that is not a good sign. But don't worry, I did heal them up, so they were well again. Day 75 was filled with farming, and the fashionista Juck had come up with some form of loom idea. However, I am very short on bone, so we may have to go hunting for some. Day 76 was a race day, and I feel like this was the hardest map so far. There were spikes in the ground, there was ups and downs, it was just all over the place. But anyway, I finished 3rd, which isn't too bad. We're still doing alright, not as good as the 2nd last time, but we can get to 1st, maybe, one day. To celebrate my race kind of victory, I headed to the mines, and I found the next totem, which is a monkey one. So now we'll need to figure out what it requires. Day 77 was a good crop day. Oh my gosh, so many crops. Love it. And then I headed off into the savannah on a bone hunt. I found a couple, but I'm still short. Day 22 of fall was very dull. I spent the whole day fishing because it was raining, so I thought, why not? Let's do it. The next day, I decided to head into the savannah because I'm actually missing a male bison, so I can't breed any bisons at the moment. The only one available was this little baby, which is cute, so I'm going to keep trying with this one to get them to move in. Once I'd finished my farming chores on the next day, I decided there was time to make some juice so that I can get my alcohol brewing underway. Hopefully, this makes me some good money. I remembered to go and speak to the bison again, however, the chance came to invite him and my barns are full, so I had to leave him this day. The next day, I decided it was time to tackle the monkey totem. I figured out what exactly they wanted from the cave paintings, and then I begun the challenge. This one was definitely the most challenging puzzle so far. I feel like there was a lot of back and forth, so trying to figure out the right way to go was a little bit hard at times, but eventually we got there and it was time to do a little monkey dance. Once I'd done the challenge, I was just so into mining, I didn't even pay attention to the time, and by that point I was like, ugh, I might as well just let myself faint, so I did. The most exciting thing to happen on day 82 was the fact that I finally got enough bones and I was able to start Juck's spinning whirl idea. The next morning started with a lot of juicing. It was flooding. And then I decided it was finally time that I found the one. So I had to scroll through the list of people. I kind of treated it like Tinder. And then I decided Garrick was the one for me. His green hair just really stood out. And then after that, I got this amazing cutscene, which wasn't so amazing, but it made me feel really, really sorry for him. So I was like, yes, you're definitely the one for me. I'm gonna make everyone love you. The final day of autumn was a busy one. I started off by giving Garrick a new present, and then I stalked Ira because she had a new idea and I couldn't wait to find out what it was. Juck also finished the spinning whirl idea, and I finally remembered to upgrade my animal shed so that I could move the bison in. Even though I'm pretty sure the trees won't grow tomorrow when it comes to winter, I did buy a bunch of saplings so that I can map out where I want my tree farm to be, and that's just a little project that I can work on. I knew the tree farm would be a big job, so I started out clearing the bottom field straight away. When I awoke the next morning, there was a blanket of snow coating the village. Let winter commence. Before attempting to start on the crop fields for this month, I realized I needed to get my saplings out of my inventory, so I began completing the work required on the tree farm. I quickly found my first seeds for the season, some winter peas. On day 86, I unlocked Ira's idea for the pickler and the vinegar, so hopefully this will be a really good money maker. I also explored in the savannah to see if I could find any seeds, but I came back empty-handed. It's just such a big area, I got quite lost. I spent day 87 exploring in the forest for new seeds. I quickly found some kohlrabi and accidentally clicked on a bunny. Now they're my pet. Not mad. I kept delving further and found some broccoli seeds, and then I decided it was perfect time to do some fishing as there were new winter fish to be caught. My personal favourite out of these was the high wind. It just looks adorable. I continued to make progress on my farm renovations. The next morning, the crop fields are nearly in place. I don't know if I need to build more, maybe over time I will, but now we have some wells and beehives, and the winter crops are looking good so far. I think there's a few missing though. I headed into the savannah, adamant that there must be another seed there, and I did find some oats finally. I think that's all for this season so far, and I also went ahead and tamed the new bison so that the male bison can start growing up and will be ready to breed. Whilst on the topic of breeding, the next morning we had another baby ibex arrived, and the relationship with Garrick is going slow but steady. On day 90, I planted some more seasonal crops. Tiny little bit maybe annoyed that when it snows it doesn't water your crops for you, but that's just a little niggle. It was also race day today and I started off well. I took an early lead. I fought hard to stay in that pole position, and finally I had done it. I had won a race. I was over the moon, so happy that finally it's taken me nearly a whole year, but we did it. I am a financially irresponsible human, and apparently my prehistoric self is too. Even though I didn't have much contribution, I decided to go furniture shopping to spice up the farm a bit, and it did look pretty cute, so I have zero regrets. The next day, it dawned on me how low on contributions I now was, so the answer to that was fish, fish, fish. Dried fish, smoked fish, whatever kind of fish is going back to be sold. The next day there was a brief moment where I had some contributions, but this didn't last long as I needed it for seeds. Despite my financial woes, I was cheered up today by Garrick and I sharing our first dance. Day 94, and we held a christening for my bunny. They are now called Snowdrop, which is a perfect name for the time of the year. And Reese got me again with this painting. It had my name written all over it. I couldn't ignore it. Day 95 was one of the cutest festivals yet. This was the winter festival, and it was all about the winter bear and the story behind it. You can learn about it. I personally just really enjoyed the little ice slide. That was really cute. But the main event is all about the snowball fight. I didn't really have a clue what I was doing here. It was still fun, and somehow we managed to win. Not complaining. Once that was done, I headed over to the jungle again as the festival had activated another reward, and this time we got a fancy looking brooch. The next day, after visiting the jungle, there was a mysterious occurrence over in the jungle, some sort of rumbling, and this cutscene where we saw the armadillos. I know they're not armadillos again, and they told us a little story, and Vac told us a story as well, and now there's a mysterious looking cave entry in the jungle and also down on my farm, which will make things so much easier, like a fast travel. I love that. Day 97, and it was time to go back to the farm. At the moment, I'm in a bit of a vicious cycle of getting a little bit of money and then spending it back in seeds and just repeat, rinse and repeat. Day 98, and the most important thing to happen was the fact that I invited a male llama to my farm so that I can make baby llamas. I know they're not llamas, but I can't say that other name. On day 99, in desperation to make some more money, I decided to set up a little pickling station in the hopes that this can make me some decent money. I also headed into the savannah and recruited a male bison to come and join us. And then I made a huge discovery in regards of money. Yarn makes so much money, so I sold a whole bunch of that. And in the evening, I went fishing and caught a serpente, and this looks like a rare fish. Look at the price it goes for. That's insane. So we're ending this 100-day on a high. Look at that money. That is crazy. That's the highest I've made so far in one single day, I think. I hope anyway, because I would have missed that. But yeah, 100 days. The most important thing to happen on day 100 was the fact that I decided to rename my dog to Marigold because they are a beautiful orange colour. I also spent the rest of the day speaking with the clan, including, of course, my love, Garrick. So that is the end of 100 days. I am obsessed with this game, so I'm definitely going to keep going with them. I know some of you probably want longer videos, but my brain cannot manage editing all 100 days in one go, so we'll probably do another 50 days and then another 50 days after that. But yeah, if you're enjoying this series, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you're playing the game as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.